There's bedtime stories. Tonight, we have a special tale to tell. A story of Tormag, the dragon that lived in a forest and saved the town. So, get comfortable, close your eyes and let your imagination wander as we embark on this captivating journey together. Deep in the heart of Ashen Peak, a mountain largely covered with a forest of ash trees is known to be the home of a powerful fire dragon named Tormag. Tormag was a dragon like no other. He was massive, with scales as black as night and eyes that glowed like embers. At the base of Ashen Peak rested Highwatch, a popular mining city known for its iron exports. The faith the villagers of Highwatch believed in is based on the worship of powerful and benevolent dragons who are the guardians and protectors of their land. They believe that by offering sacrifices and performing rituals in honor of these dragons, they will be granted protection and blessings. They also believe that dragons possess wisdom and knowledge that can guide them in their daily lives. Highwatch annually would hold a large event dedicating their appreciation to Tormag and providing additional offerings for the next year. These offerings ranged from crops and handcrafted items. However, in recent years, the iron supply had whittled down dramatically due to the lack of volcanic activity. This caused this village to become a skeleton compared to its glory days. This resulted in many people leaving the village, as they could no longer support their families. Highwatch would slowly stop holding the annual events, and many villagers could not provide offerings to Tormag. A small few would still be seen praying at the edge of the forest. However, people kept leaving the village to find better and more consistent work. Because the village kept decreasing in size, the Fear of the Night Raiders, a notorious group of bandits known for their ruthless and brutal attacks on villages and towns, became their largest threat. They are infamous for stealing valuable goods and resources, leaving behind destruction and terror in their wake. On one dreary day, while the farmers were tending to their crops, one of the farmers saw in the distance a small caravan from the raiders. He ran his family inside and quickly notified the rest of the town, ensuring they were protected. As the village went silent, the only sounds that could be heard were the clopping of the hooves from their horses and the rowdy laughs of the bandits. As the villagers tentatively listened, holding their breaths with each step, the horses stopped. One of the bandits jumped off the caravan and exclaimed to the town, "This land will be ours. Come on, boys, let's take it." More sounds of boots jumping onto the ground instilled panic in the villagers. The bandits did not expect to fight against the poverty-stricken village. In a desperate attempt to save their homes, the townspeople scrapped up a group of the best warriors they have to attempt to defeat the bandits. Thankfully, the villagers were able to fend off the small group of bandits for now. Feeling hopeless, the townspeople decided to seek help from one of their elders. The elder was the longest living and highest respected member of the village. The elder thought long and hard about the recent battle and recent decline of his home. He explained to the village that the only way to save their livelihoods would be to seek out Tormag, the dragon who lived in the forest. They knew he was powerful and feared by many, but they had no other option. They gathered what was left of the warriors and set out to the forest. The forest at the base of the mountain was thick and dense, with tall ash trees that blocked out most of the sunlight. The travelers had to hack their way through the underbrush with their makeshift swords and axes, and the ground was covered with ash and soot that made it difficult to walk. As they trekked higher into the mountain, the air grew colder and thinner, and the ash trees gave way to rocky terrain. As they neared the summit, they began to feel the heat of the volcano, and the air was filled with the smell of sulfur. The ground was covered with hot ash, and the travelers had to be careful not to step on any hot spots. The final stretch of the journey was a narrow, winding path that led to the dragon's cave. The adventurers sighed with relief upon seeing the large archway carved out of the solid rock of the mountain, but feared their next moments knowing they had to speak with Tormag. The leader of the group stood forward a few steps in front of the other men and started praying out loud to Tormag. "Hear our pleas, Tormag. Our village has been under attack and we have nothing left to our names. We beg of thee to assist us in protecting our homes. The other men dropped to their knees and began praying alongside each other. After a few moments of silence, the ground started shaking. The group heard large thuds, slowly getting louder and louder towards the entrance to the cave in front of them. Finally, Tormag stepped out of the cave and stared intently at the men before him. To their surprise, Tormag was not the terrifying creature they had imagined. He was larger than they had expected. However, as he listened to their prayers, his eyes looked upon them with pity. He listened to their plight and decided to help them. He flew to the town, allowing the warriors on his back, landing outside of town to drop off the warriors. He then flew back into the air and circled over the night raiders' camp like a vulture on its prey. He roared into the air and shot fire out at them like a jet. Tormag roared out again, "Leave these villagers be, as I, Tormag, protects this land." The bandits felt the deep tones in their bones and swore to leave without ever returning. Tormag returned to High Watch and the villagers exclaimed their appreciation for saving their village. From that day on, Tormag was no longer feared but respected and admired by the townspeople. He lived among them, and they lived in peace and harmony. Tormag protected them from any dangers that threatened the town. The townspeople were forever grateful to the dragon that lived in the forest and saved their town. And so, dear listeners, the story of Tormag, the dragon who lived in a forest and saved the town, has come to an end. A story that teaches us that even the most fierce and powerful creatures can have a heart of gold. I hope that this story has sparked your imagination and touched your heart. And now, as the sleepy narrator, I bid you sweet dreams and a good night's rest. Thank you for listening.